All right, I want to start this lesson by giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikah, Quadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles and teachers and wise men of great millstone that I learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Salutations out to the elect. All right, I want to start this lesson in the book of Joel, chapter 3. Let's start at verse 1. And as you can see, the heading says, the nations will be judged. Because we're getting closer and closer to the time that the Lord is going to bring about that third woe. As a matter of fact, let's start with this scripture right here in the book of, the book of Revelations, 11 and 14. It says, the second woe is past, which is the second world's war. And it says, behold, the third woe, which is the third world's war, cometh quickly. You see? And that's what we're approaching right now. That's why you have wars and rumors of wars of the land. That's prophecy. That's why Iran is going up against the U.S. and Israel, because it's prophecy. So let's start the video. Let's play this short video, Salakia. And then I'll get some more scriptures. Salakia. It says U.S. first ground forces arrive in the Middle East. And that's where we're getting close to World War III. Because the U.S., they just can't go in and conquer Iran. Iran is going to put up a fight. And then eventually these other nations are going to join in. And then the U.S. or America's own allies are going to turn against it. Okay, let's play this video.
New images capturing the first set of U.S. ground troops in the Middle East. U.S. Central Command announcing that the 3,500 sailors and Marines of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit arrived in the region on Friday aboard the USS Tripoli. The force also equipped with transport and strike fighter aircraft and amphibious assault capabilities. It comes just one day after we learned of yet another American aircraft carrier en route as the U.S. amasses a larger presence in the Middle East. While it's unclear what exactly the troops are there to do, the Pentagon has previously said they are giving the president options. The same day the troops arrived, Secretary of State Marco Rubio telling G7 leaders the U.S. could accomplish its goals without boots on the ground.
We can achieve them without any ground troops, without any.
Meanwhile, as the war passes the 1-month mark, the death toll mounting on multiple fronts. In Iran, more than 1,900 people killed so far, according to Iranian authorities. New strikes raining down in Tehran Saturday. These videos showing the Iranian Red Crescent searching through rubble, where they say a civilian area was destroyed. Several buildings from a university in the capital damaged too. And over in Lebanon, where Israel is waging war against Iran-backed Hezbollah, an Israeli strike killing 2 Lebanese journalists and a cameraman, according to their news organizations and Lebanese officials. The Israeli military saying they were targeting a correspondent for a Hezbollah-controlled network they accused of being an intelligence operative, but have not provided any evidence. And Israel's military announcing the death of an Israeli-American soldier from New Haven, Connecticut. The 22-year-old was killed in Lebanon. And this morning, we're learning more about that attack on a U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. A source telling ABC News at least 15 U.S. troops were wounded, 5 seriously injured, adding Iran fired 29 drones and 6 ballistic missiles, all but 1 intercepted or landing in an uninhabited area. The base also coming under attack 2 other times earlier in the week, 14 troops injured in one of those separate attacks, according to the source. And just this morning, the Speaker of Iran's parliament saying publicly of the United States, quote, the enemy openly sends messages of negotiation while secretly planning a ground attack. Whether we will actually see U.S. troops on the ground remains very unclear, but it is certainly at this point a possibility. Janae?
So we're in the beginning of wars. Let's get this in the book of 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras 16, Let's start at verse 2nd Ezra 16. Now this is the Ezra, speaking with the angel about what is going to occur in the latter days, which we're in the time of the latter days now. All right, let's start at verse 17. It says, "Woe is me." Now this is Ezra. This is 2nd Ezra 16, verse 17. This is Ezra speaking. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? It says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famines and great death, the beginning of wars, you see? And that's what time we're in now. We're in the beginning stages of wars. It says, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, and what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine, plague, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges, you see? And that's where we're in now. A lot of people are not going to change from their ways. They're actually going to become more evil. You see? They're not going to amend their ways. They're going to continue to do the wickedness that they've done, especially our people. They're going to continue to be wicked. Most of them, the 2/3, they're not going to amend their ways. So the Lord is gathering together those troops for World War III. Let's get the book of Joel 3. Let's start at verse 1. It says, the nations will be judged. It says, for behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, you see, the northern and southern kingdom of Israelites, and I will gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. It says Jehoshaphat, but it's really pronounced Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat. You see, let's show you. Let's scroll down. See, Jehoshaphat, which is what? The valley of judgment. See, look, it says Yahweh, not Jehovah. Yahweh has judged, you see. And the Lord is going to bring them down to that valley, which is in the Middle East. That lowland, the word valley means lowland. All right. And I will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and have parted my land, you see. Going back to, the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade and other trades, where the enemies of ours scattered us throughout the four corners of the world for gun, oils, and drugs, and to be slaves and servants, you see, to oppressors, which is really the judgment from the Lord that he sent upon us because of our wickedness. But that's what happened. And it says, and they have cast lots of my people, see, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. So the Lord is gathering the nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or the Middle East, for judgment, because he's going to judge them. And he's going to deliver his creation. He's going to deliver Israel, you see, from the hand of his enemies, which was prophesied even before Joel. Let's get the book of Jeremiah, you see. As a matter of fact, let's get the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 51, let's get to the point. Jeremiah 51, this is verse 60. It says, so Jeremiah wrote all the evil that he shall, it says, so Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, you see. And we're in the daughter of Babylon, America. So this is talking about America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. It says, even all these words that I have written against Babylon. 61. And Jeremiah said to Sariah, when thou comest to Babylon, and shall see and shall read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Yahweh, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. You see, the Lord is going to destroy America with those thermonuclear missiles, the second death. the lake of fire. It says 63, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou should bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates River. And if you look at where the Euphrates River is, it's in the Middle East. See? So this is prophecy that was spoken long ago about the judgment that will come upon Babylon in the future. And it says, and thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah, you see, because the words were meant for this time, the latter time, the time that we're in now. Because ancient Babylon was going to be destroyed, but not by fire. You see, not by going against an assembly of great nations that the Lord was going to use in the latter days. You see? So the Lord is going to destroy Babylon by causing her allies to go against her, and by bringing that assembly of great nations against her to burn her with fire. Let's play this video right here, and then I'll end the lesson. It says the U.S. sent 3,000 more troops. You see, the Lord is gathering those troops together for World War III. Let's play this video. Slovakia. $3,000 U.S. troops arrive in the Middle East, and this video was posted 6 hours ago. Slovakia, stupid ad.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon is reportedly preparing for weeks of ground operations in Iran as 3,500 American troops arrive in the Middle East.
Trey Yanks is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey, good morning.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. After 4 weeks of war in the Middle East, the conflict grinds on. Reports indicate the United States is preparing for possible weeks of ground operations inside of Iran that would include thousands of U.S. service members. Over the weekend, the USS Tripoli, manned with 3,500 troops, including 2,500 Marines, arrived in the CENTCOM area of operation. If an operation is ordered to seize Iranian oil facilities or enriched uranium, it's expected that both special forces and conventional forces would be used. This does come as the United States and Israel launched a series of strikes against Iranian military infrastructure over the weekend, including hitting Iran's nuclear development facilities.
In Operation Rising Lion, we hit very hard the entire chain of nuclear production in Iran. We hit everything from the production capabilities in the factories, all the components, to the centrifuges and beams, and so on. The entire production chain was hit. It was affected, it was delayed, but it was not completely destroyed.
With the Israelis looking east, they're also looking north to the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. You can see some ground forces that are going from northern Israel into southern Lebanon just over the weekend. That U.S.-born Israeli soldier, 22 years old, killed in a Hezbollah rocket attack. Hezbollah has continued to launch dozens of rockets over the border into northern Israel each and every day. And the Israelis today say that they last night went into southern Lebanon through southern Syria, an indication that they are taking the fight to Hezbollah through multiple different fronts into southern Lebanon. All of this coming as the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen got involved in the fight over the weekend, launching at least one ballistic missile into Israel. Guys?
All right. Thanks, Trey. Trey Yanks, thank you very much. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our...
All right, and as you can see...
Hey guys, good morning. After 4 weeks of war in the Middle East, the conflict grinds on. Reports indicate the United States...
And as you can see, the Lord is gathering the troops together. As a matter of fact, let's get that in Revelations. Slovakia. Revelations 20. Revelations 20. I'll end with this scripture. Revelations 20. All right, Revelations 20. All right. Revelations 20. Or is it 21? Okay, Revelations 20. Yeah, Revelations 20, verse 7. Let's just get to the point. It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are on the four corners of the earth, which that's what this so-called white man has done, which he's really read, because he is the devil and Satan. He's that old serpent, that old spirit that exists in the garden that deceived Eve, and he's back again now. You see, which he's known as the devil and Satan. All right. It says Gog and Magog, which Russia and their territory is going to be gathered together along with the troops in the Middle East, to gather them together to battle. You see, so the Lord is gathering these other nations together to battle, which Russia is going to play a major part. It says the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. You see, so the Lord is gathering these nations for battle, gathering them together for the third woe, which every day we get closer and closer to that, and it's going to happen soon. All right, I'll end the lesson here. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Rekak Wadash. Shalom.